They said her battery had died. Simple, plausible. The sort of explanation you accept without ceremony when someone you love slips a small absence into their day. Phone died. She texted at 10:43 p.m. 3 words that were both an apology and an alibi. I told myself to trust it. I charged my own phone out of habit and tried to sleep. Because grudges are corrosive and morning conversations can be kinder than midnight confrontations. But sleep is a fragile thing when questions have room to grow. And by midnight my curiosity felt less like a betrayal and more like an ache that needed tracing. I opened the GPS app out of some private, guilty hope. If her phone was off, maybe the last ping could tell me where she'd been. The blue dot on the map pulsed like a tiny, stubborn heart. It moved slowly at first, then fast along a highway I knew only in names. It didn't go to her sisters as she'd said. It didn't go home. It headed, calm, decisive, toward the part of the city where hotels cluster like promises. I told myself for the 100th time that maps lie. That routes are arbitrary and guilt is imaginative. But the dot continued, precise as a metronome, until it settled on a name I recognized because I'd seen it in the margins of company calendars and charity event guest lists. A hotel he frequented when he wanted anonymity. The GPS had a timestamp. The pin dropped at 11:12 p.m. My hands went cold. The world narrowed to the simple geometry of 2 points. Her last known location and a hotel room he'd been known to occupy. I drove without style. No plan of a scene. No righteous speech rehearsed in my head. The city at that hour was mercifully empty, streetlights making lacquered islands on the asphalt. My car's radio tuned to a late-night program that seemed to understand the uselessness of music. The announcer's voice became a distant metronome, counting down to a moment I both dreaded and needed. When I pulled up at the hotel, the neon sign hummed like a question. The valet gave me a guarded look because people have learned to behave correctly at hotel doors. Privacy purchased, discretion expected. I checked in under the pretense of needing a room for a very brief rest, then asked the receptionist for assistance. Simple, polite, a request for a manager to check a room for a lost item. Hospitality fumes away truth with niceties. It took 3 minutes, a polite card swipe, and the manager's professional shrug to learn which room the GPS had led me to. The hallway smelled of lemon and a clean promise. My footsteps were muffled but not secret. They announced themselves like an accusation. When I knocked, the door opened before reflex could finish its work. There they were. Her hair damp as if she'd been in the shower earlier, wearing a robe that didn't belong to our home. Him, in a shirt that had the careless arrogance of new intimacy. They didn't look up with guilt at first. Only the surprise that comes when a private life is interrupted by public presence. Her face drained immediately, the color leaving like a photograph being developed backwards. His eyes flicked to me, calculating whether escape or explanation would be cheaper. There's a strange, sharp silence that follows discovery. It's not the absence of sound so much as the sudden clarity of it. Every breath, every tick of the air conditioning becomes part of the truth. She reached for a towel the way someone might reach for an alibi, while he cleared his throat trying to assemble the decorum of a man in a socially awkward scene. "What are you doing here?" he asked, the sort of question designed to put the intruder on trial. "You texted me your phone died," I said, because nothing else felt like air. "Your GPS says otherwise." Her lip trembled. There was no polished excuse ready. Whatever protection she'd imagined in the dark had unraveled under the hotel's fluorescent honesty. She began and then stopped, as if the right words were blocked by the hotel door itself. He tried for the gallant explanation first, a clumsy, rehearsed thing about "it's complicated, and we didn't want to hurt you." The manager passed by, pretending not to notice the domestic avalanche, and the hallway reeked of other people's normalcy, someone's shampoo, someone's aftershave, while my life had been compressed into the little rectangle of a hotel room. I don't know who I wanted to hurt more. Him for his audacity or her for what felt like a slow, polite dismemberment of us. But I discovered then that the old performances, yelling, shaking, the visceral theatrics, felt cheap, a fireworks display that leaves only ash. I wanted something quieter and more precise, the kind of consequence that announced itself without spectacle. Evidence, I thought. Not to punish, but to make her and him see the geometry of what they'd done.